After Marigildo was arrested, Colin, aka Melly Mel, took over some of the narcotics operations, supplying crack cocaine to members of CAC, as well as to its customers. Colin was arrested on the current charges in September 2011. In addition to their involvement in the extensive narcotic sales, Pierce, aka A1, Melly Mel, and Killa also actively participated in violence perpetrated against rival gangs and suspected law enforcement informants on behalf of CAC. Pierce, Colin, and Marigildo were charged, along with more than a dozen other alleged members and associates of CAC, in an indictment filed June 4, 2012. As part of its case-in-chief, the government called 40 witnesses, including 6 cooperating witnesses. 5 of the cooperating witnesses were former members of CAC, who testified about the participation of Pierce, Marigildo, and Colin in the narcotics trafficking and violence. The government also offered physical evidence, including seized drugs, drug paraphernalia, and firearms used in the commission of the murders. Additionally, the government introduced into evidence social media posts by members of CAC, which alluded to the narcotic sales and violent acts, including a rap video from Colin's Facebook page and photographs of his tattoos. The thrust of Marigildo's principal argument is that the evidence at trial established merely random acts of violence in the vicinity of the Melrose Jackson houses, rather than the organization. 4 cooperating witnesses, for example, testified that they had purchased marijuana from Marigildo, and 2 of them testified that they observed Marigildo receiving marijuana from Harrison. One of the cooperating witnesses testified that Marigildo supplied him, as well as other GFC members, with crack cocaine to sell, and that Marigildo assumed a leadership role in the narcotics conspiracy after Harrison's murder. Another cooperating witness testified that Marigildo gave him bags of crack cocaine for distribution on multiple occasions. And a third cooperating witness testified that after Harrison's death, he observed Marigildo breaking up pieces of crack cocaine and packaging it in small baggies. The trial testimony of these primary cooperating witnesses was sufficient to establish that Marigildo knew of the existence of the scheme alleged in the indictment and knowingly joined and participated in it. Finally, Marigildo contends that the evidence was insufficient to prove that he murdered and conspired to murder Carol Agaro, or that he did so in aid of the enterprise or for pecuniary gain. Marigildo points to evidence that Agaro was in fact murdered by the cooperating witness Devin Parsons, possibly because of a personal problem Agaro was having with Walter Aponte. Parsons, however, testified that Marigildo shot Agaro at Harrison's direction, due to Harrison's suspicion that Agaro was snitching with regards to CAC's activities. Parsons described how, in July 2010, he, Marigildo, and Aponte waited for Agaro near the Melrose Jackson house's basketball court, and how he and Marigildo both fired their guns at Agaro, hitting him repeatedly. He also testified that Harrison promised Marigildo and Parsons $5,000 to kill Agaro. Parsons testified that on August 27, 2010, he and Colin shot and killed Delquin Alston. Parsons was at a restaurant in the Bronx with Harrison and Colin when Harrison told Colin that Alston was selling fake crack cocaine to CAC customers and that Alston was rumored to be a law enforcement informant. On the night of the murder, Colin, Parsons, and Alston sat on a bench and talked near a Kirtland Avenue apartment building. Parsons asked Alston to go buy some rolling paper for marijuana. Parsons and Colin followed him as he walked to the store. On the way, Alston stopped to urinate against the wall of a building. When he turned back around, Colin shot him in the head with a .40 caliber pistol that Parsons had given to him. Though Colin does not dispute that he murdered Alston, he points to testimony by a government witness that he told someone he met in pretrial detention that he killed Alston not as part of a contract murder, but because Alston threatened to kill one of Colin's friends. The district court admitted into evidence a video that was made in December 2011 in the Melrose Jackson houses and depicted Colin, a cooperating witness Aubrey Pemberton, and a number of GFC members. In the video, Colin is seen rapping. At trial, Pemberton served as a guide through the lyrics, testifying that the Young Gunners crew, or IG, was feuding with GFC. The video helped establish Colin's association with members of the enterprise and his motive to participate in the charged conduct against members of the Young Gunners. The district court also allowed the government to offer photographs of Colin's tattoos, some of which he had posted on his Facebook page. One of the photographs was a close-up of Colin's hand, showing his YGK tattoo, which stands for Young Gunners Killer. In some of the photographs Colin is pointing a gun at his YGK tattoo, indicating, according to the government, his desire to harm members of the Young Gunners. Other tattoos depicted in the photographs introduced at trial included one on his right arm that read Kirtland, tattoos on his left arm that referenced Marigildo's nicknames, Young and Killa, and one stating MIP Mac and Peace T-Money, referring to Harrison. The former leader of CAC Parsons testified that T-Money told him that, if he could not deliver profits from drug sales to him directly, that take it to Pierce. Pierce was charged in the murder of Jason Correa, but was later acquitted. Marigildo reached out to the Daily News before and during his trial, pleading his innocence. He described how he was first exposed to violence at age 5 when his family moved to Kirtland Avenue. There was a crazy shootout, and a lot of people were shot, some killed, Marigildo wrote. I remember seeing helicopters from my first floor bedroom window and everything. It felt like a movie. He said he started running the streets at age 7, began toting a gun for protection when he got transferred to Taft High School. He was convicted of robbery at 14. He was on the verge of getting a basketball scholarship to attend a prep school in Connecticut in April 2007, he said, when he was arrested for weapons possession and served time. Marigildo said he was released in October 2009, and 16 months later another accused gang member committed murders and blamed them on him and his co-defendants. They're making me out to be this monster, Marigildo wrote. Marigildo and Colin each face a mandatory sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Today, Mel Balla, SMM, sex, money, murder, and OGs occupy the area.